Hello, so I'm in one of the stages of removing the theoretical pseudo scalp of the mannequin head. I have scribed all the way around with, or cut all the way around with a penknife, measured an inch from the hairline back, and then cut along my line throughout. There's the face. And as you can see, it's an inch across, or an inch away from the hairline. This one I'm doing because it has hair and it's got super thick hair. It's actually really good quality, oddly enough, mannequin. It's not like a, just where it's tufts or in strips or anything. The hair is extremely oddly, creepily attached a lot. So I've taken up a corner of the scalp. So weird. Taken up a corner of the scalp, and the sound is just terrible. So are you ready? I figured I'd share this part. You see the corner of the scalp I've taken up? The way I did that was I took a putty knife, got in under the corner, into underneath the plastic skin, and got it back. Now it should pull because I've cut the plastic outer layer completely through. If it doesn't, it means I need to go back through and make sure that there are no attached spots along the plastic. I think it's latex probably, or some sort of rubber. It's rubber on the outside. It's got a foam core. So if you look at this other one that I did that has no hair, the inside is foam. So I was able to just take off the outside scalp that fits there, peel that off in just a few sections. So this one with the hair on it will be a little bit more interesting. It was very creepy cutting through the hair. So this should come away. There we go. And if I have any more issues with it, I can always score it a little bit more with the knife. Yeah, nice sound, right? And take it off. I want to try to get it as one entire piece. What you'll notice is happening is that the hair is actually attached because it was sewn on by machine. It's attached in on the foam that's underneath the rubber. And take that off all the way around. This is a lot more difficult than the other one was, that's for sure. There it is. It's a little creepier if you see the face. Oh man. So, as you can see, I'm leaving a fringe of hair around the outside. There it is. And it just came off. And if anybody needs a toupee, or want to put a scalp on the bridle of your horse or something, a creepy fake scalp, there you go. So that goes in the trash, because otherwise all it's going to be is, it'd be probably good for squirrels, but it's plastic, so probably not. It may actually be real hair. I'm not really sure. It's entirely possible that's real hair, which I'd rather not think about. But so there we go. No need to see me. So can't even notice. It's kind of a little Hannibal Lecter-y. A little dinner. So now the next step is going to be scooping out the brains, or scooping out the foam top. Are you ready? I'm going to try to get this as one significant piece, and maybe not. The way I did it before was I took this, went around the edge got it all the way under, and then took out a piece. So then what you're going to see is that the hairline, because I followed exactly the hairline, I may trim this up and make this even around, because making it into a planter, I kind of like the smooth line of this, but we'll see. And then I'll be, this one I don't know if I'm going to paint it or not. I'm not sure what I'm doing with the hair. So whether or not I'm leaving the hair, I'm not sure, or if I'm going to take it down to the hairline, but I didn't want to get rid of all of it first and then be like, I wish I'd kept the hairline. So I'm going to show you the next step, which is getting the foam inside out. So you don't have to be gentle with it. It's a heck of a lot easier if you're not. Just make sure your fingers are not in the way. Get in there. I'm going to be hollowing out most of it. I'm not going to take out all the foam because it does lend some stability to the rubber outside. So like what I did with the other one, see how I left a little bit? It's still squishy, but it gives a little bit more stability for when I put soil into it. Now these sections should start to be able to come out. And yes, I could be using a knife, but this is a lot less likely for me to be slicing the heck out of myself and having trips to go to the hospital. So putty knife is fine. It's relatively sharp. And I have creepy hair all over the table. Oh God, that's creepy. Because it kind of does that, yeah. So, and then I'll just continue. I'll figure out maybe he is just going to get some bangs and still have this scruff around the back. And somebody gave him a fabulous haircut at some point. So this is the head that I got at the Elephant's Trunk. And it's a flea market in Connecticut. We went this past weekend. And as I was walking through the market, just because it's, you know, who I am and why wouldn't I? I'm carrying it like this at my side. And I can't tell you how many people commented about, oh my God, oh, that's creepy. Or even more of them were like, oh, that's cool. That's so cool. And a lot of people coveted it because I got it for $6. So there was another one that was there at another woman's booth. And I can buy these online for about $16 without the hair, or with hair that's basically a net, you know, like a wig type of thing. And this one I got for $6. The other woman's at the other booth was $25. So I said, oh gosh, that's really expensive. And I walked away. Yeah, I know. So I'll be scooping out the rest of the brains, the rest of the head, so that it basically becomes hollow down to a certain point. Then the next step after that is going to be coming in from the bottom. This one also has it because it's mounted. These are normally mounted on a post, which has a clip. So you can turn the head, but it stabilizes them onto a table. And you can use them to practice. They're used to practice washing hair, cutting hair, dyeing hair, all of those things. That's why I think this may be actual real hair. I think it's actually real hair. But that's why it feels so really weird and creepy. And then I'll be planting this one. I won't paint this one, and one similar to this that are bald that I got, which are more for you can do for trims, and you can put on a fake beard and things like that and use it for trims. Male version. I have a couple female versions. I have also one of the princess heads that is really interesting. So she came in pieces. There was one piece, 2 piece, 3 piece, 4 piece. So the face came as a separate piece. You put the head together and then you put the front and back, and that snapped everything together. This one I'm going to trim. On the top line, I was looking at the bottom line initially that I drew, but I kind of like the top line, and I don't care that there are clips here. There's a wig that goes on, and the wig actually has little loops. It's like this Technicolor wig. It's a kid's thing. It was very, very inexpensive online. So what I'll do is I'll actually take my grinding tool with the hard edge, and I'll grind around the edge, because this is hard plastic. This does have the mounting though, so I'll take a drill, and just like with this one, I'll take a really long drill bit and I'll go all the way up through the center so it has a drain hole, because I want to use these outside. If I didn't use them outside, I would leave them so they don't drain. If I use them inside, because then I wouldn't want them draining all over, and I would just be able to regulate the amount of water that goes into them. But since I'm going to have them outside in a place where they're not going to need to be necessarily watered very much, and they're going to be just annuals put in them, but like colorful type of weird stuff, you'll see it later, these are going to have a hole for drainage in the bottom. And then what I'll do is in the very bottom of them, I'll put a few rocks to keep it from clogging up the hole, and that will facilitate drainage of the bottom of the at the bottom of the pot area, if you were the soil area, and that way we won't get rotten plants. All right, so I may edit this out later, but here we go. So if I trim around the edge, so you can see I'm going around the edge with the pen knife. At first I was kind of like, oh, this is ridiculous, I'm going to use a pen knife, but it actually goes in, just this little teeny knife goes in just far enough so that it's really manageable for taking out the foam and everything else. Now as I get around the face, I can feel that I'm a little too close, because I'm actually cutting through the base of the hair, and I don't want to do that. I want the hair to be in there. But if you look closely at the edge, you see how this is just foam, and then this is where the hair, when it was sewn on, whatever machine that they use that sews hair onto the top of a dummy, which is, I think I've seen it online somewhere when they make mannequin heads. This is all the sewing in, so it goes pretty deep to the foam, which makes me think that it is actually human hair. But so I want to be careful as I go around that top that I don't get too close to the edge and not have a choice to be able to keep the hair if I do end up wanting to deciding to keep it, like I mentioned, doing bangs or something like that. I'll figure it out later. I don't need to figure it out right now, but I do want to leave myself more options than fewer. Okay, so that's done. So now I go back in, do my jabbing without losing fingers, and I jab in, but I'm not going to go all the way down. I'm going to go most of the way down, but I do want to leave foam structure in the face, significant foam structure in the face, and then which is on this side, and I can always go from this so you can actually see. Oddly enough, this came with a bobby pin, and it was braided to the side so you could see the glorious face. And so as I go in, just jab down in and then pull. I found that I go in and pull. And what it does is it becomes a lever. You go in and you twist, or not twist, but you pull down. You can also go in and then push up, depending on which way you want to open up and get in there to reduce it. The sides are not sharp, just the end is. So I'm trying to use the end as much as possible and then helping out. So as you can see, it also makes it easier to get it out. I'll go in this way, make it crosshatched, and basically it becomes little chunks of foam that are then easier to take out. Now, I did find that when I first started doing this on the other one, I was going willy-nilly and if you don't know what willy-nilly means, it's like I was going just sort of random and jabbing. And I almost came through the face. So you gotta sort of temper yourself, pay attention to where it's going into and where the other end is. So that's the face down there. I don't want to go in too far. I can always go in further later, but I do want to get my little grid going, be able to take it out. Now, those are all vertical cuts. Now I'm going to go in at an angle so that I can scoop it out. You'll see that it gets resistant if you don't just shove it in. Oddly enough, like some of the foam is more dense or it gets like harder to get out. Like that piece right there just wants to pop out instead of the blade going through it. Now the blade on this is not really very sharp either. So for many reasons, first of all, I didn't go and get the sharpener and sharpen it. Second of all, once I started doing it, I went, oh, thank goodness. Close the knife. I don't slice myself, because I actually did it once and almost missed and was thinking, oh my God, thank God it's not like razor sharp, because I probably would have lost a finger, because I got all, like I said, willy-nilly, I got all excited doing it. And, there we go. And if you're enjoying watching this, I don't know. It's weird, dude. So I admit it. It's very strange that I'm doing this, but it's like super fun. And for me, it's very artistic. It's not cathartic. It's not like I'm doing it on a human. It's more artistic than anything else. It's basically like anti-sculpting or something. I don't know. Just hollowing it out. It doesn't take rocket science or artistic value of any sort, but the vision that I have of what it's going to look like is what I'm holding in my head, so that I know that as I'm going around that it's going to be very cool, and I don't want to ruin the scalp. So I'll be careful there and start getting this stuff out without making the worst mess on the planet, because the mess that I make I have to clean up myself. So here we go. Now it's starting to come out because it's all in little chunks. Change that. Might be better. It's amazing. Once it starts going, it really goes. Ooh, I did find that I can dig it out with my hands. This is an older one. This head, I'm not sure how old it is. This other one over here is brand new, so it's super soft. So I could just grab in and get it out very easily with my hands, just with my fingers. But this foam is either a different type of foam. My dad would be able to tell you exactly what type of foam it is. He's a plastics engineer and knows all this stuff. But so it's the expanding foam, but I don't know if it's because of age. You hear it sounds very sort of brittle, and it is much more brittle the way it's coming out. The other one came out in soft pillows. This one's chunks of horrible sounds as it's coming out. It's coming out much more difficult than the other one. So, but it's coming out, and it's not hard by any means. It's just definitely taking a lot more convincing to get it to fully come out of. Whoa, that one went far. Out of the core. So now you can see that it's actually starting to look like a place where you could put soil and plant a plant. See? It's getting hollow. And it's not going to instantaneously happen. It's part of the satisfaction of it. But it is kind of cool to think that repurposing something that is not going in a landfill. Oof, I should probably be wearing a mask. I should definitely be wearing a mask, but now I think of it. But at least it's not going in a landfill. And who else is going to have one? Nobody. Until you do your own. And then it's not going to be the same as mine. It'll be completely unique. So the ideas that I have, I'll just talk you through while I'm making these horrible sounds in the background. The ideas that I have for the paint, as you can see on the other one that I did painted, I tried different colors of spray paint that I just happen to have in the house, that we have in the house for different projects and different ideas. I bought it at a box store, and gotten it actually, it's metal paint, which is totally overkill. But it doesn't stick that well to the rubber, obviously. I didn't expect it to. I expect it to weather. I don't expect it... Trash. I don't really expect it to last all the time. I think that weathering actually will make it even better looking. And I think the... let me just clean up a little bit here while I'm talking. I think the sort of scuffs that it's going to have in it, you see a scuff over his eye. I'm going to do more layering. I'll use metallic paint on a couple of them, which will make it look like they're made out of metal. I got the hammered metallic paint, and then spray paint. And then I'm thinking that I'm going to try one where I actually physically paint it, make it, I'm not sure what. Then I'm going to try the spray paint that is sort of pseudo foam. And then the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of them in its raw form, hollow it out, and do all of that first. And then I'm going to use the Saccrete, I think it's called Formcrete or something like that. But it basically is like clay. When you put it together, you got to use gloves. But it's cement, so it's got fibers in it. And you can mold it like clay on a form. And I thought it'd be cool. I've seen a few videos people do them, and brilliant outcome. And it's actually cement, so it's completely going to be weatherproof. It'll have the cement look as much as, or as little as I want. Whatever texture I want on it, I can have on it. And so that's going to be one of the approaches that I'm going to also try. I'll do that on video, and I'm going to continue hollowing this out, and I'll check back in after this puppy's all cleaned up and in a plantable state, because then I'm going to need to figure out what to do with the hair. All right, see ya, bye.